When they put Marco on to refute President Obama's speech, do you remember that catastrophe? And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television, this total joke artist. It's Rubio. That's what it. Unbelievable.
Name is Ben Burgis. This is Give Them an Argument. I'm joined by Cale Brooks, who's as producer this week, also by our YouTube channel manager, editor, and producer, Kelly Carey. The voice you just heard, of course, was former President Donald Trump talking about another friend of the show, Senator Marco Rubio. So I just had an article about little Marco in Jacobin. You could tell this is a really swinging for the fences controversial take. It's called "You Shouldn't Have to Survive a Terrorist Attack to Get Student Debt Relief," and what it's about is the way that Marco Rubio has really been built up in a lot of media, certainly conservative media like Fox News, but even other kinds of mainstream media that have kind of credulously gone along with this as being a face of a certain segment of the GOP's turn towards populism. And specifically, you think, okay, well, populism, if that just means that, some notion of the people and, the misunderstood common man or something is being counterposed to out-of-touch elites, then, yeah, okay, you could have a cultural populism that's very compatible with conservatism, saying that you're waging culture war on behalf of middle America against Hollywood, or, if you're in the 80s, or, woke elites, if you're now, is about as original in conservatism as claiming to love America and revere Jesus. But specifically, they'll say it's an economic populist, that, it's Republican economic populism. And as always, when I hear this, I really want to know what this means, because Marco Rubio, like the rest of these ghouls, is against raising the minimum wage. He's against Medicare for all. Not only is he against Medicare for all, but even the Affordable Care Act and the sort of modest incremental limitations on the ability of the health insurers to prey on all of us that were built into that were too much for him. He was willing, famously in 2017, to repeal Obamacare and replace it with nothing. So he has a position on this that's well to the right of Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or, any of those comrades. And he's certainly opposed. He's on record as opposing, in the same way he says he would never support single payer. He says he would never support free public higher education. That he would be against that. So you think, okay, well, what is this Republican economic populist willing to actually do to help, working class kids pay for college, or to pay off the loans that they'd otherwise be struggling with for decades? Well, he did just introduce something, but it's amazing. And before I kick over to Kelly and Cale on this, I want to take you on a quick trip down memory lane. So if you remember the 2020 election, I'm old enough to remember that.
I don't remember that, Ben.
You don't remember that?
No,
okay.
You might be too old for this.
Okay.
I'm too young for this.
I remember 2016 too well, so I just blacked out 2020
entirely because of 2016.
Wake me up when it's over.
All right. Well, anybody in the viewing audience who is enough of a relic to remember the 2020 election, the student debt relief was a big issue there, and of course Elizabeth Warren had a plan to eliminate vast amounts of student loan debt. It was means tested. There were limitations, but she wanted to eliminate giant chunks of it. Bernie Sanders obviously wanted to go further and just abolish it entirely because, higher education should be a public good, not a commodity. Kamala Harris had a different approach, which is that her student loan debt relief plan was that you would get your up to $20,000 of your student loans repealed. So the thing she said, if you were a Pell Grant recipient who started a successful business in a disadvantaged community for at least 5 years, and I don't know, maybe there was something in there about how you had to successfully solve a riddle involving a guard who always tells the truth and a guard who always lies. Maybe that last part wasn't in there, but
you always wore red shoes on the third Thursday of the month.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You had already have been doing that for
right for at least
prior.
The last 5 years. That you have to have photographic evidence that you've been doing that.
Right.
Pre-existing shoe conditions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to her? But that didn't really go anywhere, if I remember.
Yeah.
Did she amount to anything?
I don't know what she's doing now. Maybe she's
a
in
police
MSNBC
woman
or something.
She became a policewoman in California. So she's a beat cop.
Yeah, but like a community policewoman. So it's like it's okay. She
just gives tickets. She just gives tickets.
She's just citizens arresting people just in San Francisco. She's just scolding them, putting them on TikTok.
She's the citizens arrest TikTok.
She follows them around and tells them to do better. That's what she does. She was a
job.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. The first one to be hired. Good for her.
I'm glad that she made something of herself. And at the time that this that she announced this plan, a lot of people had a lot of fun with this. So there was, for example, I was like this tweet from Peter Coffin. And you'll be eligible to apply in person on the third Monday of the month if you stand on 1 foot while reciting lines to the 2000 Britney Spears hit "Lucky." The line is outdoors for dress for inclement weather.
Reasonable.
And that was pretty typical of their reaction at the time, because this is such a ridiculous, like, reductio ad absurdum of this kind of corporate friendly democratic centrism that this would be the student debt relief plan. Well, Marco Rubio has done Kamala Harris one better. He just introduced legislation. This is an idea I guess he first had after the Pulse nightclub shooting in 2016. Wanted to do something to help them with a even narrower class of recipients than Kamala's plan, which is that he's not going to forgive $20,000 of your student loan debt. That would be ridiculous. He's not actually going to forgive any of it, but he'll give you a year off of your payments if you survive a terrorist attack.
And it comes in the form of a coupon that expires after a certain date. So you have to renew it, and you have to bring it in person to the bank. That's the rule.
Well, you certainly have to file something. Being like,
I assume so. They're not just going to like figure out who's who.
You were in a terrorist attack. I told my dad that this is what we were talking about, and I was like, yeah. So Marco Rubio said blah blah blah, and he was like, oh, I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that for everybody who's eligible. And I was like, right. I was like, it's free because it's not going to cover the non-federal loans, like anything that's private. If you're in a terrorist attack, you're still gonna have to pay for that. But like the federal stuff just gets put on hold. And my dad's like, I'll pay for it for everyone. I was like, that's really generous.
Well, this is the thing with like means tested programs, that there is always going to be an aspect of it that's fairly subjective, that it depends on it's different people interpreting what it means. The person who is trying to receive that benefit or that program, the people that are administering that program. So, who classifies a terrorist attack? And if you are at the scene of the attack, does that count? Probably. But if you are nearby and you felt harmed by it, that you had emotional trauma by seeing something horrific happen, does that count? It's like the fact that like this is the problem with any means testing, and obviously this happens in a lot of other areas as well. But to say you only get this thing if you meet certain requirements, necessarily puts all of the burden on the recipients.
You prove it.
Yeah, you have to prove that you deserve something, which is obviously, as socialists, and I'm not holding Rubio to any socialist standards, but it's the complete opposite ethos of how we see the world, where we say, no, you're a human being and you deserve certain rights. And it's actually going to just be so much easier in the long haul to guarantee these things and not have to figure out whether or not you are in fact the right thing or not that gets this. It's just by virtue of you existing that you are guaranteed something.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked, there was a old Chapo episode where, I don't even remember the context, but Amber had a really good line about how one of the best things about going from being a liberal to being a socialist is you can stop morally means testing people in your head, just to say every bastard deserves better, which I like a lot. But of course, the point is here that like right-wing populism is a sick joke. I mean, Marco Rubio is one of the people who's constantly brought up as a supposed representative of it, along with Josh Hawley, who's no better, Steve Bannon, who's no better, and none of these people. I mean, they're all like their actual like policy preferences on all of this stuff are to the right of like awful corporate Democrats.